Hey now, welcome to the City Off Campus podcast with your two favorite hosts, Sammy Sommerfeld and Jack McFarland. So guys, we've talked about it recently a lot on the pod. Apex, go check it out. It launched. They're releasing hats. They got shirts. They got hoodies. All the apparel gear is out and live on their site. Their website's www.apexperformancebrand1.com. Their Instagram is @apexbrand_. And as you guys know, if you've been a frequent listener of the pod lately, it's founded and operated by former Iowa baseball player Austin Martin. Guys, go check it out. And to talk a little bit about Apex before we dive into today's topics, we've got Apex's number one fan, Ty Snep, on the pod.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, no, it's like you said. When he finished up the season, Austin was done with baseball and decided that he wanted to start this brand. And what he's got now is just a high quality, just apparel brand that, like you said, Sam, there's different types of shirts, sweatshirts. There's going to be all lines of apparel as this continues to kind of expand and grow. But great quality brand, very practical for a wear around or activity. And real excited about it. Very excited about it.
Sweet. Jack's pretty excited about it too. He's ready to wear some of it on the golf course, right, Jack?
Yeah, I think if there's anything that could take my golf game to the next level, it's you got to look good and you play good, and I look like shit, so I usually play like shit. So I'm really looking forward to getting something to up my style.
I will say I got a couple polos, real nice, comfortable.
You shooting sub 100 with that?
I tell you what, I didn't play golf in my life, and I'll outshoot you wearing Apex.
Probably, yeah. That's not saying much, Ty. I suck. So,
and Jack, the other guests on the pod today, or I should say our co-hosts, we got Luke on the pod. Can you introduce the audience to Luke?
No, Luke left. He's actually out looking at squirrels or something. But he might make an appearance in a couple minutes or so over my right shoulder. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Everyone be on the lookout for Luke throughout the pod.
And I got little Taze on my lap right now, and he's asleep. So we have a little dog pound going on in the room.
Jack always running Jack, you should start like a kennel or something.
Well, at one point, our house did have like 9 dogs because we bred one of our dogs, and we in our little like kitchen near our living room, we put up a little pen, and we had eight puppies in there for like 2 or 3 months, and I'm not kidding, they would shit, eat, piss, whatever in that little kennel area, and I would walk out of my room and it would smell like a barn. So yeah, I know what it's like. I'm past that lifestyle. We are way past it. It was really cute. I have a ton of videos I can show everyone, and I was that guy in high school where I was like, oh my God, do you want to see my puppies? That was
you were that guy?
Yeah, who wouldn't be? You have
I don't know too many dudes trying to show off photos of their dogs. That's all I have to say.
Well, that's because they don't have unbelievable, beautiful, premium puppies at home. 8 of them.
Jack, I gotta say, man, you have one heck of a background with animals and pets.
I know.
I'm not sure I'm allowed to have dogs at this point, but I'm happy for you. This is great.
Yeah, it's growing steps for me. I take it one step at a time, and I'm really enjoying this opportunity to grow. As an animal lover, Ty.
Yeah,
so
but
I really appreciate
Jack gets
you looking
limited
out for me.
visitation rights right now. It's just limited visitation.
Yeah.
Should we move on to something else? I hate how we just always bag on me and my animals and all.
Yeah, sure. So instead of you, I'm gonna bag on LeBron. Okay.
Deal. I'm always in on that.
So
LeBron played fish too, or just wondering.
It wouldn't shock me, but Saturday morning, I was trying to be as lazy as possible and wanted to just take the morning off. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch the new Space Jam. I'm calling it Space Jam 2. It's not the other name. I don't call it that. So LeBron, I have to say, I was talking to friends about this last night, is the worst actor I've ever seen in my life. He's a terrible actor. Terrible actor. Like, I have a feeling he had an earpiece and like Rich Paul's reading him the lines and he's just saying them during the takes. But I will say the 2 things I was impressed by with Space Jam 2 were actually 3. they kind of did this weird thing where they looped in all these other like HBO universe like characters and properties. So they like implemented like Harry Potter into Space Jam, Superman into Space Jam.
Oh my God, I'm reading through it. They had Game of Thrones in there too.
Game of Thrones. So it was like kind of an interesting twist going through like the whole like Warner Bros. Like universe. But the intro was cool. They showed like LeBron starting off at St. Vincent, St. Mary, then like going to Cleveland, like a career highlight, like the original Space Jam with MJ. But the thing with that, my biggest complaint with that is they didn't ever have the Space Jam song in the movie. Like everybody was waiting for it. Everybody. But besides that, the other thing I actually liked was they made a lot of NBA references. So they made a reference to KG, anything's possible, like toward the end of the game, like the game where they beat the Goon Squad or whatever. Dame Time was pretty sick. I have to admit, he was the one goon that was actually pretty dope. And while he was playing in the game, they played Dame Dolla's songs. So like, I really respected that. But then on top of that, Don Cheadle made fun of LeBron for going to Miami and going back to Cleveland. And that was like so nice to see LeBron get roasted in his own movie. But besides that, everything else was terrible. Everything else was terrible. Like it was a movie about fatherhood. I get it. Like sweet touch, whatever. But like, I'm going to be honest. I learned nothing about being a dad from LeBron. Nothing about being a dad. Like,
well, the only things I've ever learned about being a dad from LeBron, there's 3 things. 1, Taco Tuesday.
Sure.
2,
and that was in it. I told you they would reference Taco Tuesday.
Which I'm happy they did. 2, a glass of wine every night keeps the devil away. That's what LeBron's taught me as well. And the 3rd one is don't name your son after you, but then say it was all meant to be after. It's just LeBron is the worst role model there ever is. And I heard from another source that saw the movie that LeBron banged his head a couple times and continued to play while he was injured.
I was
possibly
so mad about
battling
this.
Post-concussion syndrome or something. That's not okay. You can't do that with kids watching this. Unbelievable.
You know, I have my issues with concussions, and we've talked about this on the pod. I was so, dude, they never even put him through concussion protocol. He got like 15, I counted it. He got like 15 concussions in the movie. He got like 15 concussions, and he just taught everybody, don't follow protocol. Just go keep playing. Just keep playing, kids. Just don't even tell a doctor. Don't get help. Just keep playing. Awful example.
Yeah,
Awful
no,
example
definitely. It was horrible. Like it's, a lot of people don't like think about that, but you also got to look at it like in the lens of this is a children's movie, and I can't wait to watch it and have these same feelings that you do of this is probably going to be trash, but like, man, I can't imagine a movie being this like trashed on and still being as shit as people thought it would be afterwards. You know, like there. I even remember saying I thought it could be good. Ty, did you think it was going to be good? Because I thought it could be okay. Luke.
Welcome, Luke. I haven't seen it yet either, and I up until listening to Sam's review, I definitely was like, all right, this could be all right. Like, I wasn't gonna knock it until I saw it and tried it. I'm honestly now I'm kind of excited to hate it though. I might seriously watch it tonight and just enjoy hating it.
Gets you fired up.
If I like it, I might actually be kind of disappointed at this point.
And then they have a scene where they say Michael Jordan, and it's Michael B. Jordan walking into the room. And it was just so stupid because I was like, LeBron.
No, that's funny. That makes me laugh.
It was funny in the moment. It was funny. But here's where I'm saying it's stupid. LeBron was so sensitive about trying to make sure it was all about him that he could not invite the real Michael Jordan into Space Jam because he knew Michael Jordan would steal the show from him. Like, he just knew it. He knew once the real GOAT was in the movie, everything was done for. You know what I mean, Jack?
Yeah, I hear you. And I think the even bigger alpha move to this is maybe Michael was asked through a back channel, not via LeBron, to be in the movie, and he said no.
Yeah.
And then they just had to pivot and do the next Michael Jordan, which none of Michael's kids were any good at basketball, so they couldn't go like Ice Cube's son route like they did with NWA. So they went the next best route, Michael B. Jordan, who was a phenomenal athlete in his own right in Friday Night Lights. A lot of people don't like to remember that. So he fits the movie perfectly, and he's a hell of a boxer. I mean, he's a Creed. I don't know what his first name is. His dad's Apollo. Let's call him Apolito, Little Apollo. So I don't know. I'm cool with it. I thought it was hilarious that he was the one that came in, and I mean that's how I thought it would happen. Because when we were looking over, like I'm looking at the Wikipedia now, and they finally put the plot in, so I was just scanning through it. But there is a little anecdote here that Don Cheadle said before the movie was released that he told everyone Michael Jordan's in this, but not the way you think he will be. So way to ruin it, Don. Like I'm sure everybody saw this curveball coming. Moron. That's just bad for the business, bad for the brand. But I'm excited to hate it.
Yeah, good. I hope I riled you guys up a little bit about it. And then we're recording this on Wednesday. Game 6 of the NBA Finals was on Tuesday night last night. Jack, we were on the Suns and 7 train. We were really pushing for the Suns, see CP3 get a ring, to see Frank the Tank. Okay, Frank the Tank in this game. I know you didn't watch the game, but I have to recap it a little bit for you. Frank the Tank dunked in the game.
I'm going to look it up.
He had a monster slam in the game. It was so epic. It was so epic. I was actually watching it with Ty's buddy Keegan, and we were just all on the Frank the Tank train. Shout out Keegan. Frank the Tank was just killing it. Like he was setting screens left and right. He was actually kind of hooping after game 1, game 2, where he was just shit in the bed. And then going off that too, like this game was like, so it was depressing to see. Like CP3, like I don't know what's going to happen after this, but I do respect Giannis after this series. Like Giannis was just, he put up a 50 piece last night. He made his free throws. Like he did a lot of things that I didn't think he'd be able to do. He lived up to the pressure of being at home. The Deer District had 62,000 people outside the arena. Just like, it was just a place to be last night. It just looked like an absolute night if you were in Milwaukee. But the thing that I respect most about the Bucks winning it, besides Pat Connaughton getting a ring, which that got me really pumped, is if you saw Jack or Ty today, Giannis going through the Chick-fil-A line and getting a 50-piece nugget, and he got half Sprite, half lemonade mix. Oof, dude, I respected that so hard. Giannis is just riding on a high right now, as he should.
Yeah, my prediction for that little Chris Paul talk is we're going to see, and some of my buddies were saying this and it inspired me to say this, but we're going to see the oldest and most overhyped super team since Dwight Howard and Steve Nash went to LA, because Chris Paul and Melo are about to go join LeBron.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, it's going to happen. We're going to have the most star-studded names on a roster, and the Lakers are going to have to put the best role players around them. I'm excited for it. Like, it's what the NBA's for. But I did also hear that the refs were doing everything within their power to make the NBA an entertainment first and not integrity first league. And I heard they were making some pretty shit calls last night to try and get Game 7 to happen.
Horrible calls. And I'll admit,
I hate that, man. That's just absurd. Like, go let the boys play. Like, quit trying to extend it. And I get it. There's more money in it for the league and the teams and all that shit. But come on, like, nobody takes the NBA refs seriously. And once like this international Olympics basketball starts and like we get to see how actual refereeing is, and like when they let the boys play and get a little physical, I feel like a lot of people are going to say, man, our refs suck. And they do. They're horrible.
Dude, I was talking to my buddy yesterday, and he claimed refs are as important to sports as a head coach is to sports. I was like, I wouldn't go that far. Like, Ty, I have a question. As a baseball player, how do you feel about umpires?
I mean, a job of referee is so much harder than people give it credit for. I'll start by saying that. I mean, especially like, again, I've only played baseball at any relevant level, so I'm not going to speak for football refs and everything else. I can speak on what I watch. I know for us, our job is always to just make the umpires as least relevant as possible and just kind of play the game. So like from my own personal aspect, I usually just kind of try and leave it alone. But when I watch like other sports or even other games, they can make a pretty big impact on stuff. And like, to me, like I had heard the same thing because what I had heard, because I didn't get to watch a game. I was out. I had some stuff to do last night. Things to take care of, but my roommates were watching, and I mean, they said that the Suns just played bad basketball all night, and the score just did not show that. The score showed a nail biter, and they said watching the game was completely different.
Oh yeah.
And that it was pretty much the Suns and the guys in stripes against the Bucks, and the Bucks still beat ass, from what it sounded like. So, I mean, that was good. Yeah, no, I mean, I think they definitely make if I'm gonna say like from what I watched, I think they definitely make it a little more significant of an impact than they should, especially in the NBA. It seems like, which is why I don't watch the NBA.
Fair. Well, the way the Suns played Giannis was just terrible. I was talking to someone I know who works in professional basketball last night after the game, and I was asking him, I'm just picking his brain a little bit, and I'm just like, how did DeAndre Ayton not play him up? Like, why did they give him so much space? If you watch some of the game tape, like Giannis has so much room to back up, drive, and score, where basically what they should have been doing is like not giving him any room to drive in, basically. Because once he drives into the basket, just you can't stop him. Because then if he gets fouled, he can go to the line. If he makes his free throws on like last night, it's a good thing. If he does, I mean, if it's a bad thing, but if he doesn't make them, that's a good thing. But Giannis was just getting every room. It just reminded me of a jet where he just had a little space to just back up and just take off. He was just a complete force. It was just unreal. Just the Suns played like Giannis was scoring CP3 throughout the game. Like they were just getting switches that were benefiting the Bucks. Like it was just unreal. Like the Suns were losing all these matchups that were just so easy fixes that they could have just, drew up a couple plays, set some more screens, whatever, to get these switches to reset. And they just were letting like CP3 get guarded by Giannis. Like, what are you doing? Like, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I speak for a lot of casual basketball fans when I say I'm excited for the NBA playoffs to be fucking done. I don't know. I can't stand NBA Twitter and like everyone overanalyzing and overreacting. And like, I hate the media's questions during the NBA finals. They all suck
terrible.
too.
They're terrible.
Here's my favorite one. Hey, Devin, Rachel Nichols, ESPN. How do you feel about this final so far, and how does it make you feel? Do you feel bad for Chris Paul?
Yeah, you feel bad for Chris.
What the fuck? Like,
you're competing for a championship and you're
dude, I swear,
bad.
Every NBA finals there is a clip or 5 that come out from those press pools at the games where there are some of the worst questions asked. I remember that one guy in Miami when LeBron, I'm pretty sure, was in Miami. He asked a question and then like answered it, I'm pretty sure. And they were just like, what's the question? Like, I don't know how the worst reporters somehow find their way, or the worst questions find their way into the last fucking like series in the entire playoffs. I'm so happy that the NBA is done. I'm so excited for because this is the first time in our life where the summer's actually been packed with sports, and
I love it.
But I'm happy the NBA's done because everybody won't shut up about LeBron, won't shut up about Chris Paul, and I see too many State Farm commercials.
No, you're just mad that people aren't talking about the Sox. That's all you're mad about.
You don't need to talk about consistency because it's Death Texas Sox winning games.
So Jack was busy watching the Sox game last night. Couldn't even watch the last game of the NBA Finals, which was a little tragic. But I at least was committed to sports, and I was also watching the Cubs game during the finals. Boy, oh boy, did the Cubbies have a comeback, Jack. We rallied. Riz scored a run. Baez scored a run. Bryant scored a run. Wisdom scored a run. Horner got a run. Like, he got hurt. Relax. He got hurt. He got hurt.
That's what everyone's saying, Sam. It's just precautionary. They don't want him to get hurt.
Nah, he got hurt. I'm telling you. KB doesn't leave games early, but I don't know. The Cubs are rallying. We're pushing. I mean, I don't know. We might be keeping KB. Last pod, we were a little down, but.
Hi, being a Cardinal fan, what do you got to say to this absolute malarkey coming from a Cubs fan? Because I've been hearing it for too long.
Craig got saved 22.
Oh my God.
Here's the unfortunate thing, man. I mean, I'm from suburbs of Chicago, as you know. Same with you, and I can't stand listening to Cub fans just spew this all the time. Been listening to my whole life, and Sam, man, I just no. The Cubs are the Cubs, and they've had their year and they do the thing. I just can't. The fans, man, no. I genuinely hope. I will say I hope that Chris Bryant's not hurt and stuff, like from whatever. If he's hurt and that's why he came out with her, I know nothing about that situation. Say right off the bat, I hope he's not hurt because that there's never.
That's very politically correct of you to do. Thank you, Ty. It was very nice of you to wish that on Chris Bryant. Thank you.
And Jack is thinking now he's going to edit that portion of the podcast out.
Yeah, like we give a shit about Chris Bryant's well-being here, Ty. You kidding me? He's a professional athlete making millions of dollars. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. I mean, it's a game.
Oh, absolutely, but you don't want him to get hurt. They're talking to a guy.
I didn't say that. You did.
Okay.
I don't know what we're talking about here, Ty. I feel like you're trying to say in a backhanded way, you kind of want Chris Bryant to get hurt here. We'll just move on because I don't know what you're trying to say, but I'm trying to stop you from saying it.
Hey, I will comment you. You are good at trying to twist words like that. But the unfortunate thing with the podcast is that you can go back 15 seconds and listen. That was clearly what was not said. So for your sake, sorry, but that is a good attempt, and I do commend you for it.
I had to give you a dose of your own medicine, Ty. You do it to me here.
Jack, don't worry, man. We still got some time.
Jack, I'm going to give you this opportunity because, I'm going to give a little shout out to Fensky, who, flaked on us at one point. But Jack kind of flaked on the boys last weekend by choosing to stay in Chicago, then coming to Iowa City, hanging out with all the boys.
Here we go.
So he decided to hang out at a White Sox game over hanging out with hanging out with me, Ty, and a few other people. Shout out Hodge, Tallman. I'll give them a shout out too on the pod. Jack, what was the experience like? And was it really worth missing out on a time with the boys?
Yes. No. Every single second of it was well worth it.
So walk us through the experience on why it's so better. And then Ty can tell you why you should have been in Iowa City.
So there's a couple of things. One, the traffic going into the park is absolutely seamless. We waited no less than 30 minutes in neck to neck traffic trying to get in. So that was awesome. We missed first pitch. And then we were waiting to get some beers once we got into the game. And let me tell you, the concessions at guaranteed rate, no line. We had to wait like 30, 45 minutes for a beer. Not bad, just another inning or two goes by. But no, in all seriousness, there was 35,000 people at the game, and the Sox swung at the first two pitches.
That's 35,000.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. They swung at the first two pitches, got hits, and then McCullers set in and just diced. And then it was a tight. It was like a 2-0 game or something. The Sox lost. I watched Cease shove, which was awesome because he's electric, and then Bummer came back, so it was fun to watch him. It was fun to hear the fans cheering on Billy Hamilton because he's kind of turned into a cult classic fan for all Chicago White Sox fans. Billy Hamilton can do no wrong. Billy Hamilton could go trip over a stroller on accident and people would say, "Go Billy, go!" He's without a doubt the most loved player on the team besides Jose.
Ty, over under. How many times did Jack cry once he was at the Sox game in tears of joy?
Oh, are we setting a line or what? How we?
Just
over under what?
Yeah,
I'll say over under 3 times.
I'm gonna hope that. Wait, real question. Wait, I gotta ask this first. Jack, did you bring your mitt to the game?
No, see, my mom did ask me if I wanted to bring it, and I go, I can tell you don't listen to the show because I'm too old.
Hey, I'm just making sure. I'm going to take the under that. I'm going to give him some respect. Just a little bit. I'm going to give him some respect. And just based on the fact that he didn't bring his mitt to the game at the age of 21,
Yes.
22.
Yep.
So I'm going to hope for the under. But I'm definitely not going to rule. I'm not going to rule out. I'm not going to rule out.
So what?
Times every single hit, enjoy it.
What I think happened was Jack forgot his mitt at the game, and he instead wore his tan White Sox hat that he loves to rep, and he turned that into the mitt. When fans forget their mitt at the game and they start using a hat to try to get a ball. I think Jack was that guy.
You actually got it backwards. I put my mitt on my head and I put my
Oh.
hat in my hand, and that was how I looked. You got it all twisted. See, if you were any sort of baseball veteran, you would know that the A1 way to wear a glove is to put it on your head. That's what you see all the time in Little League. It's a reason you see it. You start them young, and you see it up to the big leagues. I was just trying to look like my role models would.
Did you get food at the game?
No, dude. Like, the problem with guaranteed rate right now, and I don't know, like, on a serious note, I don't know why they haven't, but they don't have vendors going between the rows, and they do in Wrigley, and it just doesn't make sense. So I didn't wait in line for food. I was just like, I'm just gonna watch the game, and I was fucking hungry. But
we had watching a baseball game. That would never happen at Wrigley Field.
We had really nice seats, so it was.
Yeah, can you describe where you guys sit for the fans?
Oh yeah, I sat
Sox fans.
Third base side, 5 rows up from the dugout. Hello. Pretty nice. Billy Hamilton almost threw me the ball after they got all the balls in. He threw it over.
Jack was waving his mitt.
I was like, oh, Billy, throw it to me. I'm your biggest fan. You remember me from high school? The Spanish too? He threw it to me, and I caught it. Oh, now Luke's getting excited because he thinks I'm talking about him. Sox games have been electric. The Houston Astros series, they had 35,000 fans at each of the games, which is really good for the Sox. It's really cool to see the park actually filled for just a regular season game. For me personally, like, I've gone to plenty of Sox games when they were not contending. They were just kind of middling of the pack. This has been like one of the most fun times I could like realistically say to go to a Sox game. And they have this deal where you could sit in the outfield, get 2 beers and a ticket for $25. That's a fucking deal. Like, that's a hell of a deal to sit in left center, get crashed, and just be at a game. That's awesome.
It's a deal, but it's not Wrigley Field. I can tell you that much.
Because I'm not paying $300 for a ticket and then $50 for a bottle of water, and then I'm paying $60 for a vodka water when I go out to the bars in Wrigleyville. Real fun.
It's like $3 for that type of stuff. It's not bad. We undercharge at Wrigley. We always undercharge.
Northside is very conservative with how they their price points. Definitely.
Very, very. We think about our fans. We're very considerate. The Ricketts like to give back to the community. They don't like to take.
You know what, Sam? I think we haven't been very considerate. We haven't asked Ty how his off season's been because he is actually a baseball player. So Ty, what have you been doing?
Luke.
Oh my God, we have dogs in here playing now.
But before we jump into that, Ty has to convince you why you should have been in Iowa City this weekend.
Oh, why you should have been in Iowa City?
Yeah, why should Jack have been in Iowa City this weekend?
I mean, dude, you can go to a White Sox game literally whenever. You miss a night with the boys. You know,
couldn't I say the same thing the other way? I don't get to go to every Sox game, but
we
I
had a nice
hang out with
dinner
the boys
at
when
Chili's.
At Chili's?
Yeah, we had a Chili's dinner. With
how many 45-year-old moms drinking strawberry lemonade margaritas did you guys
A lot.
Have? I only counted like 13, just in our general vicinity. And granted, it wasn't a super packed night at Chili's. I mean, there was a significant percentage.
Yeah.
That they were definitely loving them. No, we had a nice gourmet meal at Chili's, and then I got to show Sam around some little Dwayne Banks field. Gate was open, so got to kind of show him some of that. And I mean, the rest of the night we had a couple guys, like he mentioned, Tallman and Hodge, Ben Tallman, Sam Honar, call him Hodge, Hojnar, not Honar, it's Hodge.
Watch them play a little guitar.
Yeah, both of them new guys. Tallman's my new roommate. Hodge always around as well, and they both just happen to play guitar, so we were having in-house concerts. Just had a great time, man, and you missed it. And I was really sad for that because I just thought maybe that after all we've been through together,
right? Yeah.
That my dear friend would have considered coming back to hang out with us.
Right. Yeah, he literally told me.
Really disappointed, but
he told me at one point in the night, he was pretty offended. He felt like you took the porch experience away from him for you not being there.
Yeah.
He was
definitely.
It's now a distant memory. He cannot appreciate that night anymore, and he's really hurt by it. And he was starting to get on Hodge a little hard for it, and I realized he was taking out some of the anger and emotion on Hodge. I felt really bad for the kid. The kid.
Man, here's the thing: is that people change, yeah, and that's okay. It really is. I'm not gonna hold it against you, but I mean, I hope you're happy with where you're at.
You know what? People can change just like the seasons, Ty, but I am going to always be that constant friend in your life. So don't ever doubt me. Okay.
I appreciate that.
That was deep.
That was deep.
That was a porch
Right
type
there,
of moment.
Especially me being on the porch right now, I think that moment might have just come back a little bit. But I think there's definitely still some healing we're gonna have to get through here together.
Yep, definitely. It's Rome wasn't built in a day. We'll take it one step at a time, man. Definitely. I can't wait. And I can't wait to, like I just said earlier, get back, watch you play baseball because you didn't really get to play this year. So, like, how has this offseason actually been?
I appreciate it. No, this offseason's actually been really, really good for me. So I've been in Iowa City just rehabbing, getting back into shape overall and being in better shape than I was before. I've cut off a lot of that excess weight that built up and been just getting myself into a spot to where I'm gonna be ready to go at some point this fall, and I'm gonna be back for the spring with the guys. So I'm very excited about it, and I'm very happy with the way it's gone for sure. It's been really good for me.
One question that's kind of off topic, but it's on the topic of college baseball. When do you call a baseball coach a manager, and then when is he a coach? Because in the majors, he's a manager, but is he still technically your coach at college, Coach Heller? Or do you guys ever call him Skip, manager? I don't even know what the fuck. Like, that's why I'm asking.
I mean, so we have actual baseball managers. So I mean, we don't ever refer to Coach Heller as, or at least I haven't heard it, refer to him as the manager.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really. I guess that really changed when you get to pro ball, where you have managers of the team and stuff. I think it's at that point a little bit different because when you play here, like Coach Heller directly like recruits you, or Coach Sutherland or whoever's here, or any coach at any like Division I or any program at all will recruit you individually to come play for them. Whereas your coach, manager at the pro ball level does not directly do that. It's scouts, and it's a whole different process and system. And I would assume that it falls into some technicality there. But to be honest, I don't really know.
No, that was a really good way of just telling me that you actually just didn't know the answer to that. So I appreciate you trying to give me your best effort.
That's all I'm ever going to give you, man.
So this just popped up on my Twitter. I'm sorry, this is so off topic. I'm pretty sure we were talking with you earlier about like walk-up songs, and we brought up Matt Sosa came up to Love Sosa, and there was a tweet that I just saw from ABC News that Oliver Damon, 18, was the youngest person to ever fly to space.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah.
And people don't give Chief Keef the credit for dropping I Don't Like and Love Sosa at the age of 16 and 17. So I think we need to take a second and appreciate people like Chief Keef who don't get the recognition. And I kind of want to like dovetail this into another question, and would you ever think of including a Chief Keef song into one of your walk-up songs rather than going the country route?
I personally would not.
Why?
I'm not the biggest rap music guy in general, and like I think we talked about this before, but for me, walk-ups are very like mood setting and how I like set my mind and stuff based on kind of the vibe. And if I went up there, like, and again, it's not necessarily that like it makes a huge impact. So I mean, it was one of those things like, hey, you're walking up the Chief.
Well, I'm gonna stop. I think it does make a big impact, the walk-up song. I think you're kind of.
I think in my own head, absolutely, but when you get into the moment, I think it's kind of like if you walk up to some like when I was in high school and I was a freshman, I walked up to Barbie Girl so I can get to choose it. Like,
no shit, did you really?
That wasn't my choice.
That's the clip, Jack.
It wasn't your choice? What do you mean?
You definitely chose it, Ty. Just admit it. You chose the clip.
I was the only freshman on the team, so I went up and they just made my walk-up song for me. And
so that was like your hazing.
I had Barbie Girl. I had the Backyardigans one time. I had the most ridiculous stuff, and it was hilarious. But, like, it never changes the outcome. It doesn't truly like matter in the outcome you're at bat.
Then you guys you got to do that now at Iowa.
Yeah, bring back Barbie Girl.
Well, not even that. Just like bring back like making the freshmen, if they get like into the lineup or whatever, just abduct their song and just make it whatever you guys want. Like, I don't see how you guys couldn't just make it Old Town Road. I wouldn't want to walk up to that. That's for damn sure.
And Ty, maybe like any new pitchers that come in to the team or something, because you're the catcher and stuff, like you can kind of dictate their song choices. So then you can maybe, mix up the playlist a little bit for the walk up songs for the pitchers if they ever have to take in that bat, or if they're coming onto the mound, maybe a little warm up song.
I have no control over that. I mean, in theory, it'd be funny. At this level, dude, I just let guys do their thing. I'm not gonna mess with any of that, but yeah, I just don't have any control as a catcher with that, man. I'm another dude in the field. I have no idea what goes on with the walk-ups.
Jack, I don't know about you, but I think if Ty's committed to the pod, I think like he should let our audience vote for his walk-up song every week this year on IG. We post some polls. The fans choose a song.
How about this? I got an even better idea, Sam. You and I pick one song and we make them choose which song.
Oh, that could work.
Yeah,
that could work.
Yeah, back to high school. Freshman year again. 2.0, baby. Put in your place. Get in the locker and give me that lunch money.
Hey,
you're speechless right now. You're getting absolutely alpha.
There's just so many different directions you go with your comments that I need to pick one so that I can establish what I'm answering.
Exactly. I'm just coming at you like a full-on, all-out blitz, and you have no idea what's going on right now.
11 different angles, and none of them make sense.
Exactly. That's the way I go. Next question I have for you. So Sam and I were talking briefly, like last week or the week before about like the home run derby and then why there isn't many catchers in it. And I've said is obviously like the position is very laboring physically that you don't see a lot of catchers like pick it up offensively. And then I said, well, possibly in the future, if they ever implement like the robot umpires, we might see like catchers start to actually be like first baseman-esque and like offensive numbers. Have you ever had a moment catching college, whenever in your life where you're just like, man, we could really use a robot ump right now? Or is this more of like a question or a debate that's more centric around like the MLB and it's just put under that huge microscope because it's televised to how many people and they see these umps make bad decisions and we're all like, oh, get robots. I mean, have you ever felt that during your playing, or is it just completely kind of blown out of proportion?
Never have I or will I ever want a robot umpire. Ever. Like, never will I want that or be cool with that. That eliminates my job entirely. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's not good I don't think it's good for the game at all. I mean, I think it's definitely one of those things that's put into the media where it's like, oh, like make bad calls and whatever. And everyone wants to freak out about it. And I mean, that's easy to do. That's what the media's job is to make stories and stuff. But there's such a human aspect to the game of baseball and like failure. And I mean, like the best of the best fail 7 out of 10 times kind of thing. Umpires are human too. Like I said, with that being said, that does not mean I'm not going to be angry when I see a ball in the other batter's box that called a strike on me, or when I see it happen to someone else. That's always going to frustrate me, but it's also a little bit like it's part of the game and you just got to kind of suck it up and play with it. Because there's also a lot of downsides to robot umpires as well, depending on where that zone is set and where everything else is. And you get breaking balls that end up in the dirt that are getting called for strikes. If things malfunction or read wrong, like there's so many other aspects of that are, I'm so against that. And I think it's such a blown up thing in the media that I don't know anyone in the game of baseball who wants robot umpires. Maybe a hitter will say it like a heat of a moment. I could see someone being like, oh, like I just got rung over that at bat, got taken on me, like give me a robot. Like, but no one would, I don't think anyone actually means that. I've never actually heard that. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate there. But no, I think that I'm so against that beginning of baseball.
And I think one thing that people don't even think about with robot umps is the managers coming out and standing up for the teams and riling them up and putting on a show. How do you throw someone out if you're a robot? How do you know when they cross that line? Like you stupid gadget head fuck. Like then do I like throw them out? You fucking Wall-E looking ass. Like how do I as a robot know when to throw an umpire or a manager out? So yeah, I think this is definitely a conversation that people really haven't dived into like the nitty gritty details of it, but I just think it's interesting because there's like everything's going, robotic, technological, AI driven, people are gonna want like robots thrown in as umpires eventually. Like I can just see it next 10 years. Like there's going to be a wave of people that are like, why don't we just have it 100% correct? Because they've already added replay to baseball when baseball never had replay, and it was just like the human element of missing a bang bang play. That was like people accepted that. Then they stopped accepting that. Are they going to eventually stop accepting catchers who like frame a nice two-seamer outside? Because that's, like you said, that's a part of the game. And you take that away, and it takes away like like Yadi Molina, pretty good receiver, or that Roberto Perez from Cleveland, very good receiver. They're absolutely irrelevant with a robot. So yeah, I think that is definitely something that I don't know. Do you actually see do you think it could ever happen or not?
I genuinely don't. I think that, like, I love baseball, like the way, like, growing up with it, like just the sport in general. And I think if you love baseball, there's no reason that you should want a robot umpire. Because even if you really love baseball and you do think that, like, if you like start to really think through and understand, like you just said, even from a fan aspect of like, I want to see a guy get thrown out, stuff like that. Like, you take away so many different elements and aspects of the game that are so crucial to just what the game is. And so much of the game is a human element. I mean, there's always a saying of, that's just baseball. You hit balls hard, you line out, you hit duck snorts, they fall, like things like that. Like that all comes together full circle. It falls in with umps, everything else. It's just kind of how the game goes. It's part of the mental grind of it. I just couldn't. I could not personally be more against electronic strike zones back behind the plate. Just so not for it.
Sam, would you ever be for it?
Electronic strike zones? No.
Never.
No. I like the imperfections.
I like it too. That's why, like, I was never on board with reviews, and I get like why they do it, but like they got to do the thing. And I've heard the next step in this whole reviewing thing is like you got to put in like a shot clock, because at a time, like even in the NBA or the NFL, and it's not really an issue in the MLB because they're pretty good at the review times, but you sit there and you just take the flow out of the game, and like there was like things were just happening again and again and again, and like you take a team completely out of the momentum, the mojo, their swing, because you got to go look at a bang bang play at first that has always been accepted as like it's human error, like he's gonna miss it. Like that was the difference between a perfect game and a no hitter for that Detroit Tigers guy. And I think it was Joe West like went up to him the next day and was like crying and said, I'm like so sorry for doing this. But that type of moment doesn't happen when you have a robot. And that's the only like time I'll remember a perfect game that never was perfect, because it was such a bad miss. And like you'll never hear those, but that's what sports is about. Those like insane moments, and baseball is like the perfect environment for the most insane things to happen. And like one of the things, being a casual fan, you watch 81 games at home, or if you watch like 140 on TV, the announcers always got to find something different to talk about. They always got to find different angles, different stories, narratives. You start taking like some things away from baseball, and it's just not, it really just won't be the same in the end. So yeah, I have to agree. Like, I don't think adding a robot makes anything better. If anything, it takes more character away from it. And that's like, I feel like that's something baseball has kind of been like straddling for a while. Like they added those pitch clocks to try and speed it up, and those aren't even like, those aren't respected. When I was at the Sox game, that clock starts at 30 in the outfield, and by the time it hits 0, the batter's stepping into the box. So is that when the clock technically, like, you have to be getting ready for the pitch? Because I always interpreted it as like that's when like the ball has to be going, and I was like, I don't like that. It doesn't even look like they respect the pitch clock. So I don't know. I don't think they got to keep fucking with baseball.
So I mean, I'll hit the pitch clock thing in a minute. I'll reel back real quick, because when I was referring to umpires and referring to electronic strike zone, I don't mind the review, like the concept of the review, like the safe out at first base stuff, or guy gets thrown out at second or out at any base. I don't mind that, because that's such like a crucial part of the game that's truly determined by the umpire and not necessarily how hard the athlete competes. Whereas like a strike zone is the catcher working or the pitcher spot, like that's kind of part of the game. Is guys like, I mean, my job is to make balls look like strikes, to present better to an umpire, and that's like how I compete. So you take that out, you take away my ability to compete. Whereas a bang play is both guys competing as hard as they can. It's entirely up to a guy getting it right, and that's where it changes. That's where I see like reviews. The theory of reviews are good. Now, where you said that with the flow of the game, I don't know how much you guys watch a lot of College World Series.
I watched
Decent
I
amount.
watched a fair amount. I did.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's not necessarily like anyone's fault. There definitely has to be some processes made to make things go a little bit quicker because there was definitely some games, especially like in the World Series, like finals there, championship series, where it just took too long and kind of broke up the game. It was a little bit like, all right, let's play. But it's pretty, especially when it was like pretty clear to everyone that was watching it over and over again on TV, as we get a different view. Definitely could be cleaned up to where it doesn't eliminate as much like flow. So I mean, I'll sit with that. Like I think that, like I said, I don't mind the reviews. They're definitely going to improve, and it's like anything else. Like that's new. It's a very new thing in the game. I think that's definitely something that will keep getting better and will just be a lot more efficient. The pitch clock stuff, man, is so it's so unclear. And the one thing, like, the thing is that the only guys who really know where the pitch clock is the umpires or like guys in the dugout. The pitch clocks on the monitors that you'll see around the fields are in separate areas, and when those.
Hold on, real quick. Do you guys have pitch clocks or not?
We do. We have a 20-second pitch clock.
Oh,
and
I didn't even know that.
Comes when they're in contact with the rubber again, or when they remount the mound, I believe it is. I don't know the exact rule with it, to be honest with you, because it's so much has changed with all of that in the past since I've been here, especially. Like we had so many different things come up, and it's like now you have to like fake a throw on a pickoff to like reset it, and there's so many different little ways you can like reset the clock, but not. That's why it's so hard, especially as a fan, to like really pay attention to like those monitors because they're just not always accurate, and that's not anyone's fault. There's just too many different things going on in places. So where it's, I mean, I never pay attention to the monitor that's on our field even. I just kind of like mentally clock out in my head like when he engages the rubber, like how he got, or if sometimes it'll start well. Like sometimes it does work, but I never like if I'm not paying attention and I want to look at it, like if that was on my mind going into that, that's not what I'm like. I'm not going to just go to that and take it as gospel.
Do you even know like if there's a penalty and what it is? Because like what is it?
So for us, there's a warning and then it's considered a balk.
Oh.
So yeah, it just becomes a balk. I mean, there's you get one warning and then it goes from there. So I mean, with no one on, it's not a big deal. With guy on, it's pretty important. To be honest, we didn't have. I only saw it. You probably count on one hand how many times I saw it this year.
Yeah, I was about to ask if you've ever seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a few times happen, and it was usually. I don't know if it was ever truly like someone was just taking too long, whether it was our team or not. Like I'm just saying in our games in general. I think it was definitely like something funky happened or something was going on and the technicality didn't reset the clock. The little mini technicality that reset like just didn't happen or wasn't like clocked. I don't know. But that whole thing to me is, to be honest, I'm still kind of trying to figure that out and see where that's going to go. I personally don't love, that's one of those things where I don't love altering the game like that, trying to speed it up, whatever. I think as a player, play the game. However it goes, it's kind of part of it is adjusting to how different guys get in rhythms and get in grooves. And that to me is a thing that's an integrity aspect of the game. But I see the other side of it where it's like sometimes guys just take ridiculously long and it's like, dude, you just don't need this. Like guys can adjust too. We don't need 45 seconds between pitches. So I get that. Like I see both sides of it for sure. I think it just kind of depends on the situation. I'm not opposed to it entirely because I see both sides. But I definitely think that's another thing that's going to just kind of develop as years come on here. I think this year it'll be a lot more sound, and the year after that it'll be a lot more sound. And I think that is one that could definitely go in a good way or could go in a bad way. I'm not sure where. It just depends where the higher ups make those go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely an interesting discussion just because we are in this age of like technology being brought in to make things easier, simpler. Obviously, I wanted to get your perspective on a lot of these topics because you play the sport every day. Like this is your life. You and being a catcher, if anything, I think electronic umpiring is something that would affect you more than anyone. I mean, not including the pitcher, but you guys work together. So I definitely wanted to get your input on it. But Ty, everyone at home, thanks you. I'm going to thank them for them because, you know, you're the man for coming on. And I'm glad we've buried the hatchet about a lot of our negative past and some transgressions you and I have had. But we've grown, and obviously you think I've changed, which is fine. It's whatever. I'll get over it as a man. It's the cross I have to bear now. So like always, not the same time, same place. But before I go, be sure to check out Apex Performance at www.apexperformancebrand1.com and check out their Instagram. Sam is at apexbrand_.
Correct.
Boom. Check it out on Instagram. Follow them. They're doing a bunch of giveaways right now. I jumped in on one of them and I didn't win because some other guy won. So I envy him a ton. He's getting a free sweatshirt.
Too. All my friends are disappointed. We didn't win the giveaway.
Yeah. I think there's a hat giveaway coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that. @ApexBrand_ on Instagram. Like always, not the same time, same place. We will see you guys later.